What's going on, guys? Before I actually get into this video, a couple things real quickly. One, I'm using a brand new camera, so if this footage doesn't turn out as beautiful as I want it to be, I'm sorry. I'm using a brand new mic as well, so hopefully that increases the quality of this. I'm still learning how to use it, so hopefully it brings the value to it that I hope it will. Aside from all of that, I'm going to try and tie all of this information together at the very end. So I know it may seem that I'm like kind of grabbing at different parts here, but just if you'll stick with me through this whole video, it will tie together as one whole thing by the very end of the video. So first off, I just got back from the gym. So I think that number one, the most important thing is that with anxiety, you have something that is your time. It's for you, and it's when you can kind of let go of every single thing, and that's just your time to just not worry about anything except what you are doing at the moment. And for me, that's the gym, and it's always been the gym. And so I personally don't like lifting with a ton of people unless they are extremely close friends or I'm just helping someone just on the off occasion. But in reality, like for me, the gym, that's my 2 hours or 1 hour of the day where it's just me and nothing else on the outside of the world. I don't like to sit there texting people, talking to people, having all these conversations. I like to just focus on myself. And so I think that that's very important, and that you find that you time in the day when you have anxiety. I think in terms of defining anxiety, we all go through stress, we all have nerves and things that get hit on a regular basis and stuff, but anxiety is life-changing. It's something that you can likely diagnose yourself, but it's something that changes your life every single day. So first off, I want to talk a little bit about how to deal with anxiety and kind of cope with it and to not let it take over your life. Because for me, it did take over a lot of my life for maybe a 3 to 4 month period at the very beginning of 2017. So I think the first biggest thing for dealing with anxiety is having people in your circle, and I'm not talking about just your friends, I'm talking about your closest friends, and having a very few amount of them as well, as you'll come to find out later in this video, and family that are willing to listen. And I don't mean just listen, but actually listen to you. Not people that will say, oh, it'll be fine, things will pass over, but people that will actually listen and give you and bring you comfort. Not people that are going to pressure you into doing things which will ultimately make the anxiety worse. Like, I hope that your anxiety gets better by fall break or spring break or something like that. Or why don't you just take a break from all of this and let's go to a party and you'll feel better. And trying to solve the problem for you when they really have no clue what's going on. So finding people that can kind of understand that concept and more so ending up listening and not trying to pressure you into doing things that they think will make the situation better for you, because they ultimately have no clue what you're actually going through at the time. You almost want somebody who's going to be like, we can do what you want. What do you want to do? What is going to make you feel better? Those are the kind of people that are willing to listen and focus on what do you need in order to make this situation better, to make this very stressful time and anxious time in your life better. And I'm not saying that the world should revolve around you all the time, but just friends that really understand when you have that 10-minute breakdown in your day and you're just overloaded with stress and anxiety from whatever it may be that may seem stupid to them and so simple to them, but it's too much for you to consume at one time. Having friends and family that can sit there and be there for you and actually be there for you and understand, or at least try to help you without pressuring to help you, is extremely important. And I think another great thing is to have people that are not just going to baby you. You don't want people that are just, oh yeah, we'll do what you want and this is what you're going to do and everything for you. It's all about you. You don't need that. What you need is someone that's going to make you feel more comfortable. Like, oh, you don't want to go to the gym at 1? When's a good time for you? And people that are willing to just be open-minded and they're not so... They don't baby you along with every little thing that you personally need. Because again, the world does not revolve around you or myself. And so it's more people that are just very understanding, and they understand what you're going through maybe at that specific time. And this shouldn't be, 24/7. They're constantly babying you or helping you and stuff. But just in those times that you're just extremely stressed out, whether it's, once every week or once every few months or even if it's daily for a short period of time until you really realize that you have anxiety, those are just such important people to have in your life. And that's going to lead me to the next biggest thing. I want to kind of talk about, again, this is all going to tie together at the end, but I want to talk about where the anxiety I think comes from. And I know there's multiple types of anxieties, and I'm going to kind of refer to more of what I've gone through personally. So hopefully maybe it can help the audience that I'm speaking to but I believe that anxiety is going to come from insecurities, and that may be a tough thing for some people to understand and want to be able to communicate with other people. And it doesn't have to be insecurities with how you look or things like that, but maybe insecurities of how you perform, and that just may be like, have you done enough in this world? Have you made something of yourself in the past 6 months? Are you wasting time just watching Netflix all the time? Or are you trying to grow a business? Are you trying to get into are you trying to get your master's in school? Are you trying to do something great that's going to make a change in this world? Being insecure because you're trying to live up to other people's standards. And those standards, the ones that I'm talking about that you may have to be living up to, can be your friends' standards, absolutely your family standards, your girlfriends, your boyfriends, their mom, their dad, your best friends, anybody's standards that are being set for you, that you're expected to do this. And heck, it could be something so off the beaten path that it's not just as simple as building a business or something like that I'm personally, but maybe you have to make a certain amount of money to be with that person or something like that, or you have to be perfect in X amount of ways in order to be the perfect son for your parents, or be the perfect boy to bring home for a girl, or girl to bring home for a boy, and you just have to be perfect for them. That's another insecurity you may then take on because of someone else's standards that you're being held to. So the way to then cope with that, and it's awful to say because it's so hard to do. Breaking up with anybody is so hard to do, but you have to kind of realize, is that someone you really need and want in your life? So whether it's your brother that is always putting you down, it's your older brother that's always putting you down, or it's that family member that's holding you up to that standard that you have to get a doctorate degree, or it's your boyfriend's mom that's just holding you to a standard that you have to do this, this, and this in order to date my son. Those may be the people you need to not more so have in your smaller circle, and maybe even bigger circle. And I'm not saying, and it may be hard. It may be extremely hard to get rid of those people because they're your family or they're your best friends. But though you may come to find out that if you can push those people away, that is exactly what is bringing on that anxiety, those insecurities, those standards, and those things that you have to live up to. The best thing to do is to sit there and think about, what are you actually anxious about? What is too much to take on? Because sometimes for us people that have anxiety, it's the simplest things and it's just too many things at one time. But figure out what they are, what standards you're having to live up to, or what's making you anxious, what's too much that you're actually taking on. And figure out what's not important anymore. What's not that important that you have to have it. Because this world has too many people to offer that are so amazing that you could surround yourself with, and experiences and things like that you should not be anxious and so focused on this one exact person being in your life if they're actually bringing you down and not enhancing your life and making it a better place, and not making it better than it was before. That kind of leads me into this next video I might want to make. So if I get 10 likes on this video, it's so simple. If I get 10 likes, I will drop another video on this next topic. But I think what's extremely, extremely important that a lot of us, especially my generation, do not do is learn to love yourself. Learn to be able to rely on yourself. Don't rely on other people. Learn to be able to take care of yourself, understand what's wrong, and just being self-aware and things like that before you get into relationships with other people. And I'm not talking about just boyfriend and girlfriend, but also friends and things like that. And relying on them for things when you could be doing all of it yourself. I think that that's so important, is learning to just love yourself and being extremely self-aware of what you're really capable of. Because a lot of us do not understand how much we are actually capable of. I think the last thing that I really want to touch on is I personally ended up taking medicine for the anxiety that I had, and it made it so much worse. So if you haven't started taking medicine, I personally would recommend against it, and figure out any other way possibly to deal with your anxiety and learn to overcome it. For me, it made me a lot less anxious, but as the business and extremely driven person I am, it also took away that drive. And I think that's kind of bullshit that I'm saying that something took away my drive, because that's so internal. But I felt okay not doing all this work and being extremely busy and productive But I also would sit there and tell myself in the back of my mind, you're such a piece of shit for not doing everything that you were doing before when you were extremely anxious. And to just give you a little piece of the anxiety and what mine was kind of like is, I was just surrounded by the absolutely wrong people. I wasn't supported. I wasn't given the positivity that I needed, the listening ear. And ultimately, it comes down to just who are you surrounded with, who is there to listen for you and increase the positivity and just make your life a better place. And again, if you can't be self-aware and you don't love yourself already first, I think that's something you have to work on first before having all these relationships with other people, guys, girls, friends, family, that should be making your life better, but could ultimately be making it much harder. I personally like to think that I'm an extremely mentally tough person, and it's kind of hard to explain that in the same video that I'm telling you that I went through anxiety for X amount of months, and I literally had sleepless nights to the point where I would get 2 hours of sleep a night for months on end, and I would have days in a row where I literally did not sleep, and it was probably one of the toughest things I went through. But at the same time, before that and where I am now, and thankful to God that I am here now and I'm back from where I was before, I think that, again, learning to love yourself and understanding who you are and being extremely self-aware of who you are and what you can take on and not relying on other people for certain things is one of the most important things and best things that you can do for yourself, regardless of what age you are. I'm not exactly sure if I've even tied all this together or not. I hope that it can just help one person, maybe give them an idea that their anxiety is coming from other people, the standards that they're living up to, or something like that. Regardless, I think with my specific anxiety that was keeping me from sleeping nights on end and only giving me a couple hours of sleep for months on end, which was affecting so many different things for me personally, physically, mentally, everything. How I interacted with people, friends, family, how I performed in the gym, how well I was able to be productive for business or whatever it may be. It ultimately comes down to who are you surrounding yourself with, and are they actually your closest friends? I'm not talking about just the acquaintances and things like that, people that you're friends with, but I'm talking about your best friends. Are those people the right people that you need to have in your circle that will make you better? Your family, the exact same thing. Thankfully, I have an extremely supportive family. I just wasn't near them when I was going through that because I was at college. But finding that right circle, those people that you surround yourself with every single day, day in and day out, being self-aware, learning to love yourself first before creating new relationships is extremely important. So I believe that is all. Comment below what you think if you have questions. I didn't want to make this video extremely long. I kind of wanted to see what kind of response I got. I got a lot of Instagram DMs of people telling me, yes, definitely make this. It would help me up so much. So I absolutely wanted to at least do something for it. But I can absolutely expand on this video without a doubt in my mind. But reach out to me. Let me know if it helped you in any way, shape, or form. If there's other parts you'd love me to talk on, let me know in the comments below. Leave a like if you liked this video. If you did, and I get enough likes, I will drop another video on about learning to love yourself and why that's so important before creating relationships with other people, whether it's friends, family, boyfriends, girlfriends, any kind of relationships, and why loving yourself is so important and understanding yourself and who you are. Let me know, guys. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys next time.
Here we go.